Good afternoon. Today we will be discussing another poem written by Sylvia Plath, and the name of this poem is The Bee Meeting. The bee meeting opens with a vivid imaging of the poet's vulnerability before the hive. In the poem, all the villagers but her are protected from the bees. She equates this partial nudity with her condition of being unloved. In the symbolic marriage ceremony which follows, a rector, a midwife, and she herself, a bride clad in black appear. And this image is entirely different from what we see in the Western world, where a bride usually wears a white dress and the groom wears a black suit, three-piece suit. Normally we see things like that. She seems to remember that even the arrows which Eros used to shoot into the ground to create new life were poisoned darts. And just as her search for a divine father was tempered by her fear, there was none. The god would be nothing more than, say, the wizard of the Oz, a little man with a big wind machine. So, too, her search for consolation from her earthly father creates an intensity of consciousness in which she no longer has any guarantee of security. Eros for her is ever accompanied by the imminence of death. I am reminded here of the frequent wordplay in Italian literature between amor, that means love, and morte, that means death. Certainly, every mythology relates the sex act to death, perhaps most clearly in the tale of Tristan and Iseult. Iseult. In nature, the connection is even more explicit. Always the male bee dies after inseminating the queen. Plath's personal mythology anticipates this. If the central figure of authority, the queen, is her father, then the daughter worker must die after the incestuous act. And she does at the conclusion of the bee meeting, and Plath did at the conclusion of her suicide attempts. The long white box in the grove is in fact her own coffin. Only in this light can the poem's protagonist answer. uh, I repeat, only in this light can the poem's protagonist answer her own questions. What have they accomplished? Why I am cold? This is the quoting from the poem. Given the problematic quality of both personal and collective existence, the persona moves towards death amid attempts to evade it. The bee meeting, she tries to evade a social milieu that moves in on her relentlessly. Her flight takes the form first of social disguise, then of stasis. The poem introduces us to village beekeepers who present a frightening picture of social sham. In contrast to the heavily veiled protective disguises of the villagers, the persona wears only a sleeveless dress, and her separation from them is emphasized by the juxtaposition of I and they. I have no problem, they are all gloved and covered. Why did nobody tell me they are smiling? This is the quoted verse from the poem. The repetition of sibilants, sleeveless, summary, smiling hats, in addition with clearly wholesome connotations, give us an eerie, nightmarish feeling and a sense of something think familiar gone awry. I will read the verses from the poem. Who are these people at the bridge to meet me? They are villagers, the rector, the midwife, the sexton, and the agent for bees in my sleeveless summery dress. I have no protection, and they are all gloved and covered. Why did nobody tell me? They are smiling and taking out veils tagged to ancient hats. The persona's dominant impulse is to resist her exposure to an expensive and threatening milieu that encompasses the natural world as well. The Secretary of Bees tries to turn her into an officially consumed beekeeper. But this attempt only increases the persona's terror. She assumes the disguise of milkweed silk, an inanimate and consequently a safer means of evading both the rigidity of village social life and the aggressive power of the bees. Yet, even in such evasions, reversals of order, argument her sense of nightmare. The reversal involves the menacing animation of inanimate objects, the winking tinfoil feather dusters with hands, black eyed bean flowers, and leaves like bored hearts. Another reversal occurs in the violation of the bee's natural domestic pattern when the villagers smoke the bees out of the snug hive. The bees react hysterically and become outriders of such poems as Stings and the Swarm, while the speaker disguises herself as a passive vegetable cow parsley. Plath reinforces this resistance to exposure in the depiction of the old queen bee for whom the villagers are searching. Although she identifies with the queen, the persona differs in a fundamental respect, despite the fact that she must inevitably be supplanted by a new queen, and the old bee remains secure in the pattern of the hive. Her role within the natural hierarchy defines her being. The persona's terror, on the other hand, cannot be assuaged in the ritual of her nature, and her surreal ceremonial interplay with the villagers only whittles away at a nebulous sense of identity. Her sole recourse lies in yet another disguise, ultimately that of the magician girl who does not flinch from the shower of knives that threaten her with extinction. That's all for today. We will continue discussing poetry in our next video. Thanks for watching.